finish telling your
I
story you
will.
had on IG about your nine of diamonds?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh,
No, you're
oh,
fine.
hello, everyone. I was wondering about Rashad's story that he was telling on IG about the nine of diamonds week.
Yeah, it's been an eventful week, I should say. Um, so Nine of Diamonds, it's a card about letting go, values. Um, it's a either philanthropic or it can be selfish or greedy, right? So it's also a card that has it's a card of extremes, you know. So it has the Nine of Diamonds, Queen, Five of Diamonds, and the Queen of Diamonds as its karma cards. So when that,
Wow,
uh,
that's a lot of diamond energy, right? The five, the queen, and the nine, huh?
hmm yeah.
Interesting.
So that's their life spread. The only card you don't see on here that would be a part of life spreads is the Ten of Clubs, which it transforms into. It has a Queen of Hearts in the moon, which kind of don't really speak about, or people don't really say too much about it. But I was looking at all the nines and their association with the queens, so they have a really close association with the queens.
Oh,
So
look at
as
that.
far as so emotions, and it can be a card of extreme and of extravagance. I always call it the negative Nancy card at times as well. So those extremes can be on the high side or a low side. Like I said, it can be a card that can be called the negative Nancy as well. So very high standard. And like I said, having high values. A lot of times we associate nouns with either disappointment or fulfillment. So there's a card of fulfillment on its highest side, outside of it being selfish, like I said, philanthropy, giving back, as far as values, helping other people. And it can also um, get into accidents as well as far as driving. So that was one of the
So
eventful
I,
things.
I just did something. I never actually did this before. I might do it to some others for the fun of it. But I did the solar value of the five of diamonds, the queen of diamonds, and the nine of diamonds just to see what they would turn out to be. And, I just did the numbers and it came out to 104. So that's 52 and 52. So would that make that like combination a joker? Would it be zero, or what would it be if it's like 104 is what it adds up to? Like it's 38.
You would minus, I believe, 52 if it's over. Um,
Right. So if I minus 52 from 52, it's going to be 52. But if then I minus it again, it's a zero. So you're saying once it's 52, it's a king of spades then.
Correct. Yeah, it should be a king of spades. Yeah, you said 104. Yeah, it would be a king of spades. I have to make sure it's not 52 or 55. There's two different formulas. One of the formulas use 55, but yeah, I believe so. It's
Well, that
52.
would understand why they like to be in charge. Yeah.
Who? Which one's the nine
Not.
of diamonds?
Mhm.
Yeah, it actually doesn't take advice very well. Criticism. And it's more of a leadership type of energy. So yeah, they have to be in some line of authority or have some type of authority.
Responsible.
Or
Yeah, Donna says that the nine of diamonds really needs to have some responsibility or feel like they're responsible or have the most important job. And my grandson literally said to me, "What is the most important job that I could do?"
that's funny. Yeah. So it's very important that they because they can't really it's a non as far as speaking about past life and current life karma, I don't speak too much about it because I also look at astrology as well. So when it comes to people, places, or things or anything, I always look at astrology. But as far as like the nons, it's supposed to come here with a sense of maturity. It can't really have the excuse of ignorance or pettiness um, or selfishness. So it's one of those cards that can't really have an excuse around being as negative as they are. But once they do step up to leadership or take authority of their life and take control, and all of that tends to kind of go away, and as long as they take upon responsibility and not be a victim of situations, right? So
Mhm.
I was just thinking about that the other day. Like some people will take control, or you could just be a victim. I feel like if when people are playing victim, they let go of the control, or they put the responsibility or the faults on other people sometimes,
Mhm.
instead of just taking responsibility and knowing that you had the ultimate decision, right? I was just watching Neil deGrasse Tyson, and a physicist, I believe it was, and they were talking about free will. Like do we really have free will? Like, do you have freedom of choice, or is it reaction based upon uh, uh, past events? So we all know that for one thing to happen, another thing must happen. So, but then there's this little space of free will, of randomness that happens in the universe. And actually, deGrasse Tyson used the words chaos. And I was like, oh, snap. That's like the life spread, right? The chaos spread, you know?
Mhm.
But even that in the chaos spread is what we're looking at. That's what we call the light spread, that we're looking at in front of us is the chaos spread. You know, so even within this, there's a little pattern. Go ahead.
You know how from, Rashad and I have been talking to each other for a pretty long time now. And one of the things that keeps coming to me is like how to reenact or stage the pure spread, right? Just for the purpose of feeling what the energies might experience, like a game of chess, but instead of standing in the different warring positions, just coming into alignment and having some type of a shared thing. So the moon dance that I do has, given me the opportunity to consider what a shared prayer might look like. And I keep seeing when I talk to several friends, including a couple of Nine of Diamonds this week, and these are like old friends that I've done business with that all still are relevant things, just they didn't happen all together. They just happened and then they went where they went. Everybody had life take them where it took them, right? So in some ways, we were putting the puzzles together. And when I was talking about it, I said, I see it like all of the hearts in one direction and all of the spades and then all of the diamonds. And I just see the fact that we're interacting and moving together for the shared understanding that, like, you stand where you stand, but you light what you light, right? And sometimes in the chaos, the mundane, the matrix, it's hard to like because we're so busy having a fight. Some of the conversations I had with people were so sweet and authentic and open, and then they drop the like something about the politics or what's going to happen in this world or what about Palestine. And not to say that I don't think those things are real and maybe a little confusing, but and I'm like, well, why would you be thinking about that? You have nothing to do with that. Like, how are you? How is your balance? Like, what's going on? But it's like, it's wrong what's happening. I said, what does that mean? Like, I'm going to carry the pain for something that I conceptually think is wrong and then stay stuck in a lower frequency because I don't trust the world to grow my flower. Like, so anyways, I've been really talking about how to use the cards in a playful way, but to, put all of the cards together and just say, hey, let's use this to create something. Let's make sacred dance moves. Let's have a drum in the middle. Let's pray for harmony or the ability to collaborate with more clarity. So
hmm Yeah, and also with you said you was having a conversation with the Nine of Diamonds, or well, I believe you said you was having a conversation with Nine of Diamonds. But I was thinking about social welfare. It's always important to be concerned, or to have a concern about the world or the current state of everything. I think it's somewhat natural for people because we live in a world where it's community based. So what's affecting your community, or what's a threat to your community possibly, So you have to have some type of global awareness, and that's one thing with the queens. Actually, when you think about the act of being selfish, I'm not saying that you're thinking selfish, but you're saying to not let the world consume you as far as your thought patterns and maybe your habits,
Well,
conversation, or
no,
maybe your. Mm,
I was thinking about it like attachment styles, right? Basically, what's been really going through me in my own process is how much of what's happening is our attachments to things. Like, how many things do we stay engaged with because of some form of attachment? So, even if we look at attachment styles, avoidant and anxious attachment, like disorganized or secure attachment, right? All of those things might be ways that we interpreted our reality when we were growing, or it might be the way the people around us connected or didn't connect and we imitated it. But either way, it became active in a way that it shaped our personalities. It created a almost defense system in our structure to joining. And we have these attachment styles that are informing us, like if it's safe or not safe. So for myself, I'm disorganized, right? And sometimes that's frustrating, but then other times I'm like, well, what else could I have done? So in being disorganized, I can come in and I can connect, and then I'm out and I'm in my own space and I'm somewhat of a pain, right? So ideally, it'd be great if I could stay in and work with and collaborate and feel safe and harmonize and all those things I dream. But it's some type of a response to a message that says it's not safe to be a we. But yet I sense and feel internally how it's so powerful to be a we now, to be part of like shared understandings and moving together in consciousness. Like, it's the age
mhm,
of Aquarius. Like, wouldn't that be what would happen? Like, we'd raise consciousness. So the first layer of consciousness to me is, what are the lies that I've been telling myself, and how have the concepts gripped me in ways that those lies inform me and maybe aren't necessarily my highest truth, but they're just what I've always thought because of my style of interacting with the possibility that we're not safe or we're not supposed to join, or Rashad's a bad guy, so I can't really get too close to him, or whoever, you know what I mean? Like, any way we internalize reality and then we use it to stay separate, like an avoidant personality, that one might be over in their own world, hermetic love types, right? And not really in the other world. So that kind of makes them feel safe, but they're also not fully joining. So I just been really considering how we can be liberated from the attachments or the concepts or otherwise that keep us from perceiving ourselves in a safer, more connected way. I don't know,
So
but I've been thinking.
yeah, so are you saying that the way that we perceive the world affects the way that we connect within like groups or personal relationships?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. For
And
sure.
what type of way does it? I know you was talking about the different attachment styles, but um, through those conversations, are you saying that it puts a wall up sometimes of connecting, or there's some type of fear that is has grown from how someone perceives the world or what's going on?
I guess, you know, what I honestly think is that it teaches us to be different than what we might be like. So if I remember studying this in school, that if somebody comes into the elevator and the mom shows fear to the child about whoever came into the elevator, that child kind of starts to grow from that fear,
Hmm.
right? So I think some of it is learned responses to perceptions, for sure,
Hmm.
you know? And then there's ways that the innocence or the essence of us, the seed, I like to call it, because of the vulnerability it is to feel that tenderness, however you experience life, in the most vulnerable way, yeah? We might have created aspects of ourselves to insulate the ability to really connect and feel it because that was groomed and it felt or the illusion made it seem like we were safer separate than we were connected.
Mm. I think that everyone's experience, or how they may understand, perceive, or attach, or anything like towards the world, or how they're groomed emotionally, is a lot of times based upon their childhood, or other people that that are involved in their life. Can you see that in the cards? Yeah, and that's kind of what, as far as having the nine of diamonds, like I said, it can't really be consumed, um, full of itself. You know, it does have to have an understanding of what takes place universally. It's a universal card. So any type of fear that it could be based upon that childhood. It does have a seven of spades and Mercury, which I was going to talk about as well. So I guess looking at how someone is groomed, or how they come up, in their younger life, is kind of based upon their Mercury card a lot of times, which shapes their perception, their experiences. And that's one of those things where you talk about, in a sense, as far as free will and those things, right? So is there chaos, or is there a little bit of free will, right? So I believe there's a little bit of both. That's why we're here, right? We see that there's patterns that happen that shapes people, karma, or the way they take in life, or their perception around life. So I think it's more of a sense of understanding why and how, which is how I am in a sense. I'm trying to understand why a person may think like that, what shapes their personality, or are they standing within a fear? Or this is poverty versus wealth mentality, the nine of diamonds, but also can be consumed with fear, with
Wait
the
a minute.
seven.
You said it's positivity versus love. Wait, say that again slower. What did
I'm
you say?
sorry, poverty versus wealth mentality, which can also be, like I said, it can be consumed with negativity as well. Just, and also has the seven of spades. I said it can be like a negative Nancy card, right? So how someone may think, or how they are shaped, a lot of times it can be seen within their cards. If you're talking about using the cards in that way, or understanding people within their, how they perceive certain things. So the nine of diamonds and the seven of spades, a lot of times they have, a, I guess, a lot of accidents. It can be either injury, illness, that shapes their Mercury card. They can have a restrictive parent a lot of times within their lives, that can shape their perception, and need some type of freedom, right? So with them, I'm just using them as an example,
Mm-hmm.
for how someone, or how their childhood, how their mentality or something could be shaped within the cards, or just understanding people mentality or their experiences, right? It goes into free will, that kind of conversation, but the experiences that they may have could be shaped or within their card, which could shape their mentality, or how they are, or their fear, or what type of anxiety, because the seven of spades and Mercury, we talk about anxiety, that can be a how, like I say, a card that can have incidents, illness within their childhood that create anxiety, or a certain amount of sickness or something within them. But they can have fast recovery. So to say, they have fours and Saturn, but still, that can create someone that can have a lot of nervous energy, and also sits Mars and Uranus as well. So as far as using the cards, that's how I use it to understand the environment that someone may grow up in, or may shape their mentality, to kind of see what their perception is. And also, um, it's a universal card, I think, as well. It's one of those cards, like I said, that can't really escape responsibility, you know. So that can create a high pressure, high stress environment, you know.
Mm-hmm.
having to step into leadership. Some people may not be ready. Like I said, that's why I also don't just look at the cards by themselves. Sometimes you also have to use astrology and take that into play. Like I said, there's a sense of will and also karma that kind of takes place. Like, how do you react within these environments? Also, what is the, I guess, say the bodysuit or life karma that you're born into, or the skill sets that you were born into that creates maybe a higher intense nervous environment for someone. Um, so that's how I use the cards, or how I would look at the how someone maybe relate to other people, or what may shape their perception.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, is
Interesting.
that is that kind of what you? I
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know if you.
I think for me, I'm just like I said, I've been considering what it is to use the energies to help create like a show it. I don't know. Like I said, I've just been in this image of it all coming together and the energies for some purpose, because I love the idea of what the pure spread may mean. Like, I like the idea that we have a trajectory that is more harmonized and less chaotic. So I think of the pure spread because of what you were saying before, as a suggestion of what that might look like.
Yeah, the pure spread is ideal. That's kind of why I kind of say like Neil deGrasse Tyson in the concept of living in chaos. I thought that was interesting because it's you are the King of Diamonds. So King of Diamonds is one of the Kumbaya cards. Like, why can't we all just get along? Why can't it just be peace? So that
Card. God.
you you
Mhm.
said what?
I said kumbaya card. Very nice, Rashad. No, no, no. I get it. I mean, like, just the other day, I went into the uh, clubhouse and I was having fun and seeing everyone. And then I caught that vibe again of everybody kind of like in their responses, letting me know it doesn't always have to be nice. It doesn't always have to be positive. It doesn't always have to be nice. You can say, I'm like, every time I talk to these guys, they say that to me. I wonder why. So I guess it's what you're saying. But I'm really just keeping my frame where my frame goes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying those things aren't possible, but it's not what I'm going to focus on.
I mean, no, I mean, I think that, like I said, that's why understanding the cards can give you a sense of understanding the person. If people knew that that was the King of Diamonds, then you would have more grace, right? So that is the purpose of understanding, and that's the Nine of Diamonds, universal understanding um, to understand, and to bring value to everyone as well, to raise the value and of other people. So a lot of times we associate the Nine of Diamonds and diamonds with money and material value, but it's a mix of spiritual and material value, right? So to understand the spiritual essence of things and to understand what's around you, is the ultimate fulfillment for everyone, right? So we all of our purpose here is to understand the world that we are involved in, right? So
Like
I
how
think
to
that's
use the universal laws, like how to respond to what is.
correct, right?
I'm just
Exactly.
outside, so I'm gonna turn off for sitting here on my noise.
So to bring universal understanding, and that's the life of the Nine of Diamonds, to understand and bring value to other people, right? To nurture and to care, right? So that's a part of nurturing the queens, the essence of the queens, right? Is the essence of nurturing. A lot of times you can find Nine of Diamonds, the essence around hospitals, hospices, or healthcare facilities as well, right? Is lifting and raising the value of other people, bringing understanding and helping in some type of way. Or it can be someone that can share resources, millionaire, billionaire. But like I said, that's the mix of shared spiritual and material value. So now the money is connected to things of the earth. So how do you build? That's the type of giving when we think of philanthropy and the nine of diamonds and giving, and that essence is actually giving things of resources of value to other people, helping, building houses and those things they can do within real estate, you know, um,
That's all nine
or
of
to
diamonds
those
too.
avenues. Yes, yes. Okay, it also has the four diamonds in Uranus for them, seven of diamonds and Mercury, dealing with or creating things out of the earth, the space. Always, I connect the space to the earth, or creating things of value. Because think looking at the spiritual spread, um, it is transferring the diamonds transforms into the spades. So yeah, so the nine of diamonds, there's a certain amount of care and concern that they have, a lot of pressure. Like I said, the nines connected to the queens, there's a relationship, so a sense of nurturing and caring for, and
Like
like I
deep
said, they can't be selfish.
sensitivity. Like
Hmm?
really feel it so deeply. Like there's several, I have like 3 or 4 girl nine of diamonds in my life. A few were clients, some were friends, and like they're really sensitive. Like could cry for someone else. Like really feel other people really deeply. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. We don't really talk about the queens when they're associated. They have the Queen of Hearts in the moon position, right? They love food, so so anything when it comes to feelings, emotions, addictions, right, comes with that energy as well. But yeah, really emotional. Like I said, they can be in the care facilities. They have the Four of Hearts and Saturn. So family and home, and like I said, they can maybe run away from home or having a restrictive parent around them, but they also need that balance of being a loving and caring environment, because they are so sensitive. And especially within their childhood, like I said, they can go through stressful situations possibly. The Eight of Hearts can be, you know, filled with traumatic or trauma, right? So Neptune and all of those places is where we could suppress our feelings as well. So it can be suppressive in some type of way, it may explode in one moment, right? So it can be very reactive cards as well. Like I
Hmm.
said, it can be a card of extremes, and so it can go into extreme emotional time periods for them. You know,
So
so
check this out, Rashad. My grandson's gone to school, I don't know, a week or two. And his new phrase when he comes home is bro. So everything he says to me, he calls me bro. No, bro, what are you doing, bro? No, I told you this, bro. Like a lot, right? So I'm in the store with him and we're looking at something. He says, no, bro, come on, like this to me. And I said, I'm not your bro, I'm your grandmother. So this other young boy, teenage boy, says, yeah, my aunt gets mad at my little brother for that all the time. He says, this new generation, they call everybody bro. They think they're in charge. This is like a teen boy telling me this, like a 15-year-old, right? And I was like, in this generation. So maybe he's a little older or something than the alpha generation. Yeah. They were about in 2000 or something. No, 2012. But it's really something. I'm just fascinated with this like indifference to respect. Like even when I went to school, like you had to call people's parents Mr. and Mrs. Like it wasn't even like you had to. Like that was respectful. You know what I mean? You wouldn't think to call them the first name. Even if they told you to, you wouldn't. And now it's like if you ask a kid to call you that, they're kind of like, why I gotta call you that? It's so interesting. And I'm not dissing it and saying they're wrong. I'm saying, wow, something's changing.
yeah, a sense of freedom. We're in the Aquarius age, so children have a lot more access to information, right? So the, they so their relatability to people and adults is like, I think if they see things so much, so there's a certain amount of comfortability to be themselves, and they see us acting silly on the internet, possibly,
Or in general, like doing anything dumb. They're like, why are you doing that? Like, we were in the clubhouse room on Tuesday night. They looked up the nine of diamonds and then they looked up relationships, and relationships was the nine of diamonds. And we were like,
Mhm.
oh, that's interesting. Because, I mean, there is a real desire for fairness, like, for things to be fair about what happens. You know what I mean? Like the humanitarian, like you say. But I thought that was interesting. Relationships is the nine of diamonds. And I would say in this week, there's been a lot of cultivating of which relationships still have like lines that align and which ones fall away because it's time. That seems to be happening kind of naturally.
You said, what about lines? You said what?
Like I'm finding that there's some relationships this week specifically that kind of came into alignment. Like all of a sudden, it's like, oh hi, look who's here. Oh hi, me too. Oh, that's interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see what we do. And then other ones just sort of fell away because they weren't where everything stays. Things just started to move. And that happens when you're gardening. At the end of the season, things kind of like fall away and then room gets opened up and then something else opens. Like that's what happens. You take things in and out once they're done with their harvest, if you will.
Yeah, that's an something I was going to get into also. Nine of diamonds things, like I said, it has been a roller coaster, right? So part of that roller coaster is unexpected things and changes and drops, letting this go. So for me, the change or the seasonal changes is maybe as far as job, possibly, or location. I don't know. I could be in next season. I may not be in LA, possibly, right? Or I could. When is it the correct time to kind of let go? I think, and that's a part of having faith as well. So the nines, like I said, having universal understanding. Also, a part of is having faith as well. That's what also kind of gets rid of the fear or standing within that fear, and the wealth versus poverty mentality, holding on to things that no longer suits you, or staying within environments that no longer is giving you value or showing you value. I kind of posted that. A guy was saying stop staying in circles, locations around people, or environments that don't know your value, right? So when is it time to kind of let things go or change directions or pivot, right? So a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of people struggle with pivoting. A lot of people struggle with letting go and staying attached to certain things, and those attachments, like you said, can be a mentality from childhood, that can be holding you back, right? So what is restricting you from growing, right? And it's the part, like I said, part of universal understanding, and is also having faith, that everything's kind of happens for a purpose outside of the chaos. It's also a bit of God and karma that is working in your favor, or it should, as long as you're acting responsibly and doing the things that you should or you need to, right? Because we can't, feel cursed. I think that's, like I said, playing victim. And it's funny. I seen a guy earlier today. He was saying that someone was he was with a millionaire or billionaire, right? And he was saying, you and your family are cursed. He was like, do you know what your child is going to do with their life? And he was like, what do you mean? It's like, I knew my son was going to be a doctor before he was born, and I pushed him towards that direction, right? So there's, like I said, nine of diamonds comes with this ultimate fulfillment, and they come with a certain amount of karma, like you've been here before. Like, so you have no excuse of ignorance when it comes to, whenever you do things, you have to act responsible within whatever you may do, right? And and don't play victim to your circumstances and take control of what kind of takes happens. And also, so anything that bad happens, you have to take responsibility, but also understand that God or karma is also in your favor, as long as you step on the horse and do what needs to be done and be attentive to the situations. And we're humans, right? And I'm not going to say like no one has an excuse, but things happen that I also say that we are born here without knowing. But, there's this, like I said, you have to have faith and that you also was born with a certain amount of consciousness. So it's maybe our third or fourth time here and we don't know it. This earth is a kind of a weird place, and it's kind of strange to people to understand that, how can you be here knowing but not knowing, right? That's that fight of, is it faith or free will, or is it based upon previous actions unknowing to you, right? So what type of control do you really have?
I've been really enjoying the concept of lies and truth, because you can
Hmm.
really something stronger when it's telling the truth and not when it's lying, right? And there's so many layers of lies. And there's a woman, she does something called intuitive mind. She teaches people how to grow intuition. And she released a free meditation. Anybody can look it up. I don't remember her name, but I will look it up before we're done. And the free meditation, she guides you to ground yourself, in the moment and all that, and become as centered as you can and connect to your higher self and see yourself like an hourglass. And in so doing, start to release um, little lies, like little white lies, and, unconscious lies and embellished lies. And then the one that I really found was like a dose when I was doing meditation is authority and dictatorship lies, like things that came with certain types of experiences, right? So after she has you, bring all of those lies right down to the core of wherever you connected to as you rooted yourself into this space, she then is wise enough to say, take this blue light that she connects to, that she feels informing her of a higher frequency, and let the blue light come through and fill up all the spaces that were in lies with the truth, right? So anything like that, I mean, that's a beautiful idea. I'm in. She suggested doing it for the next 6 months. It's a great thing to go to sleep to. And I know I've done little white lies. I know that I embellish. God knows that's how you tell the story sometimes. I know that I have unconsciously lied, and I know that whether I'm in my own little bubble or not, in Kumbaya world, that the indoctrination was real and that some of it is lies. So I'm curious about how our frequency shifts when we create relationships with our intuitive inner voice, or however you want to speak it, or that alignment that helps you know your choice. And you're not like looking outside to see where you go. You're like, yeah, I'm going to go there. That's where I go. You just move, like, because you start to feel it and But as long as we're in confusion or the illusion or who's right, who's wrong, how could they? Oh my God, that's horrible. Oh my God, those poor kids, or though, what we did to the older people. As long as we're in any of those narratives of how it's wrong, then we can't necessarily be liberated because we're attached. And that's what I was trying to say with the attachment things. Like the attachments feed certain types of narratives
Hmm.
and that
And
they
living,
go
and I
ahead.
think living within your truth is important, as you were saying. It's Nine of Diamonds is one of those cards. It's living within your truth or being truthful to yourself and understanding who you are. And I think we talk about sovereignty. Everyone talks about sovereignty as far as state people, consciousness or wherever it may be, having control or power over yourself, and making ultimate decisions for yourself, right? Or living within your truth. And also, like I said, not playing victim or being a victim to situations, right? And being proactive to what's taking place, what's around you. So, like that is the, I think, while we're all here trying to understand what is it or how do you really live within your truth, right? And not play victim to what's taking place around you, and being in control of yourself, for your actions, or whatever it may be. And that's also, like I said, free will as well. Fate versus free will is always a debate, in some type of way. Is it their unconscious react or unconscious path, to think and to be within those realms, situations, or thought patterns, right? Or is it they're just them practicing free will and taking or becoming victim without taking control? So
Well, I mean, I
yeah.
think the big thing that happens there is because we are, product oriented and we consume as part of our satisfaction and things like that. And, that's just the way it is.
Hmm.
There's a way that rushing creates violence even inside of ourselves, right? Like when you move really faster than you can and make conscious transitions, whatever's off is going to come out somewhere, right? It's going to come out in some bad habit or in something you say, or
Hmm.
because like the slowing down and moving gracefully from one thing to the next, I mean, it's a really different pace, and it doesn't mean you don't do stuff, and it doesn't mean you don't get everything even done when it gets done, but you're not moving from a place of squirreliness or anxiety because of some attachment to some concept that says this is how I have to be, and if I'm not that way, then mine's not okay. So I have to like be in my head making myself feel bad all day because I'm not perfect in some psycho way. I'm watching the Trolls movie all about being perfect, so my brain's in. But
And society has done and that's another thing with society, in this time period, and understanding the universe, because we are also consumed with, like you said, technology and things and television, the lies that they tell television, right? So we do have to take into consideration that,
we're affected. We're totally
yeah,
affected. You know,
yeah.
I started a new Sabbath I hope to keep. It's Friday nights till Saturday nights with no phone or any like things like TV and stuff. Like it was amazing how much calmer I got, how much more I was making up little songs. Like I colored, I drew like a bunch of things that I don't always do because I'll listen to another YouTube or I'll go over there or I'll answer a call or I'll be on my phone or I'll look at this. Like it's it's really distracting my intuition. Like it's intuitive and it gives me stuff to feed me all day. Like it'll keep me running like a hamster in a wheel, but I'm not necessarily connecting to what I might feel because I'm kind of being taken over by whatever it gives me to look at next because you get so overstimulated. I get so overstimulated by it. So I'm trying, and it was interesting how many times I wanted to get it, and I was like, "Oh, what do you really want? It's like, why do you want that? What would that be?" And I'm like, "Wow, I must be overriding some of my needs sometimes with the phone in my hand. I wonder how much I'm paying attention." And how like if I need water, if I'm not just buying something, you know what I mean, or something crazy like that. It's like, what's happening? So I really have, I really liked it. I mean, for me, I'd love to take half a week and half a week. Like I'm not a lover of it, but when I'm in it, it starts to take over. And next thing you know, I didn't sing any songs, I didn't dance, I didn't do some of the things I love to do because it keeps me so busy. And so I don't know that our best version comes when we're so busy.
Um, it's kind of one of those things where I feel like my personal theory as far as the world and the way that we attach and consume, is, like I said, is understanding that there is a ultimate plan, right? There is a ultimate understanding that we're all supposed to come into this world and we're all playing our parts of whatever that is, possibly. Is there people that are supposed to come here to overthrow corruption? I believe so, right? Is there a natural sense of good and evil? Yeah. Is there the free will to create technology and to explore the material values and create phones and devices and technology? I believe that everyone practices free will, God given ability, and also manifestation or their own personal destiny to do these particular things. And, that's why we study astrology a lot of times, is to understand the essence of free will, purpose, and what it is that's really taking place on a universal level. You know, um, Astrology presents or shows universal or try to understand everything on a universal level as far as technology even sits in the Uranus line or Aquarius line, right? That's why I was talking about the nine of diamonds is inventions, you know. So the way that we use these devices, the way that we use technology, I think that we're trying to just do, like I said, our purpose here is to understand the world and the earth around us, and there are attachments, and the nine of diamonds actually, and again, I'm trying to relate back to nine of diamonds in the conversation,
I
but
like it. I'm with you. I'm tracking, and
mhm.
I agree with all of it. I don't think any of it's bad. Keep going.
Mm. But it gets consumed and attached, right? So, like I said, it has to have material and spiritual understanding. And I think that's the conversation, in essence, that we're kind of having now, is trying to have a material and spiritual understanding of what's taking place around us, right? and trying to have some type of universal understanding of everyone's purpose within this world. And again, it's a world of chaos. People come here to practice out. We put it on two sides just to make it simple: good and evil, natural and organic, right? So um, we're all here practicing with these two, the yin and the yang, and these two concepts basically rule the world. They always say that the devil is fighting for your mind or your spirit. So
Mhm.
it's just a natural fight that I think is natural, and a part of that essence of free will, spirit,
It's
and
like,
and our natural journey. Hmm.
yeah, it's really, I guess, whatever lights you up, right?
Hmm.
It's like it is about becoming lighter, and I mean lighter even in your heart, like a feather, light as a feather in your heart, just more joyful and lighter. So whatever lights you up, if that being busy and going all the time lights you up and you stay in a joyful state, then by all means go create, like live at large. But then I just know from my experience of being human that contraction or that quiet wakes up internal kind of integration, wisdom, peace, like creativity. It does good stuff for me. So I don't say
Yeah.
that the other things aren't great. I just bought the Cards of Truth set to look at, like the online like version, so I can look up people's 7 days and the 7 year cycles and things like that. And I've never gotten any of these things. Like I've listened to everybody, I've looked at the squares a lot, I've gotten a sense of the energies, but I've not looked at these spreads and really got into that part of my head. So I just started to, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like it was like a bigger train started to go. And I was like, okay, so how do I navigate this? Because this is a wormhole that obviously has information, but I really only need to go into it at certain times, a certain ways, because I could see how I could just go into everything as if like I was the wizard.
Hmm. And I was also saying the balance of like liberation, right? Someone seeking freedom, seeking life, or living, or seeking, or having some type of balance, right? Or escape this matrix, So how do you escape the matrix? It's someone's job to elevate spiritually, consciously, to seek that peace, to seek that freedom, to seek that consciousness, to live in a organic atmosphere, right? But we in a world where you're given free will to live in the matrix if you should choose, if you please. And a part of that, I think, is using the cards as seeing through the matrix, as looking at your 7 day or your weekly spread for your personal self, it's more of the organic energy that we all want to have, in the spirit, because I live in the matrix, unfortunately. I have a job, but I'm trying to escape the matrix. I'm trying to seek or get that peace of mind and freedom. I incarnated within this world where, you know, the, the the world that I live in is consumed by technology and is such a fast paced and a concrete world. But I do have a spirit of freedom and justice and diplomacy, of freeing people, helping people in some type of way, and wanting and helping people get a peace of mind. Actually, my incarnation cross is the Garden of Eden. So it is to show people where my little piece of heaven is, or where I gain comfort within this world, and to gain or show how I get a peace of mind or bring a peace of mind to other people. The Four of Clubs also is my transformation, right? So, like I said, I think we're born. It's like a video game, right? We it's like, how did Mario, what if Sonic was in a different world, right? But he wasn't. He was he was in the world that he was in. He was built and made to do the work that he did, right? To escape or go through the rings or do whatever it may be that we're supposed to do. We was born into this world. I've seen that someone actually is having a project of removing all the concrete within their neighborhoods, within the city. I think that is dope, right? So it's like someone job or someone felt like it was their incarnation to build these roads and cities and create these walkways, and someone else is to create greenery and to create peace and to heal the world, right? So how they practice their free will is how they practice it. But I don't believe. I'm not saying that just have to live in this world because you was incarnated that way. Saying whatever your life purpose or practicing free will and elevating spiritually and understanding the spiritual and material value of things. And elevation is to go back into a organic way, right? But it's a fight. We was incarnated within this world in this time period with that purpose to, change and to go back into these organic ways. So I
And
think.
it's going to take time, so it's not like, yeah, it's just going to take time. So whatever anybody's doing, it's not like anyone's doing it wrong. It's like you're waking from an ancient sleep, right? And I'm just suggesting it's called intuitivemind.org. Her name is Nancy, and Michelle Ensworth interviewed her. And so she does these truth meditations, and I think it's just a wise way to consider how to clean ourselves, right? Because to me, the thing that doesn't happen in the go, go, go game is we don't always know how to reclaim ourselves, right? Sometimes because we change as we go through stuff, like we're supposed to change, but even in the changes, you want to come back to home base and clean up the closet and make sure everything's all right and stuff, and then go out with the new outfits. You don't necessarily want to leave the old stuff and pile the other stuff on top, because it makes your inner world very chaotic.
And we're kids. We're put here to understand this universe. Like I said, it's a physical, worldly experience that souls, I don't know what they're doing. They're probably shaking their boots trying to get down here to experience this as much as we are now. Like, oh my gosh, is that a cigarette? That's so cool. But it's death on the other side, right? They don't know. Possibly. So, it's an experience that we're all having, and these spiritual experiences, getting connected with nature, elevating wherever or however you is or however you may do that, is the journey. That is the joy of living in this world, is to understand these particular things and to have a connection, and understanding how it has a connection to you. So that's how we use the cards to also understand our personal physical patterns. So any particular person that help you get to that organic state of mind where you can live within your truth or within your um, natural state, I think is another high science, right? Is the cards, spirituality, and why we're here. That's the nine of diamonds. It's understanding the physical and the spiritual nature of matter in itself and our relationship to matter. And I thought it was very interesting when the students was asking, what's the relationship between the universe, the planets, and us on Earth? Is astrology really real, right? So, yeah, I think the study of the universe is the nine of diamonds, and to understand all. Also, because why is that? It has a spade and Mercury and the King of Clubs as well. So, understanding, universal understanding is our journey. So, I think that's dope. I check out that website. And what was so I don't know if I can put in
We can put it in the
chat.
comments, maybe. I just don't know how to make it like a link. You know what I mean? I just know how to say what it is.
Oh, what was it?
Intuitivemind.com. Her name is Nancy. And that was the one to support releasing ourselves of the lies, just consciously saying, I want to empty myself of any lies or confusion so I can be liberated from any of the ways I'm reinforcing illusion, right? Because we're all part of things, right? So, but it is a stage, like J-Lo says, and we see the hierarchy shifting. We also see it on personal levels, and it is exactly like that. And I guess that's why everyone loves the word sovereignty now too, because everyone needs to become accountable to who they are at the table, right? And what you're bringing and why you're bringing it and that kind of stuff, because why not? Why not? And the family card table is another place that we're inviting you to grow and learn yourself from the inside out using these systems. And I just want everyone to consider that there's more information for us and we can practically help things move, because if we stay in the hive mind or such, we could lose some of the clarity that's ours. And everyone's is unique, everyone's is their own. We kind of need everybody. I mean, we do need everybody. That's why we're here. Kumbaya.
Mhm. So universal understanding, is the experience that we're all here to come to have, and to give back, to raise the value of other people, and to raise our own personal consciousness or our personal um, destiny, and to manifest whatever it is that we're supposed to do in a positive, with a positive mindset, right? So, and also, wealth versus poverty mentality is a mindset of not valuing yourself, not valuing other people, or not understanding the value of yourself, or not understanding the value of other people, right? To understand the physical and metaphysical natures of everything and everyone in some type of way. So once you understand people, places, things, you're able to raise the value and to kind of give back, raise the consciousness of other people, raise their understanding in some type of way. So that is the essence and part of philanthropy outside of just giving back money, is giving back values and understanding that are everlasting, right? Living within your truth is something that is always everlasting, that doesn't diminish in value in any type of way, So that is the nine of diamonds, is trying to understand that, and to not seek things of just money, because that's not going to make you happy ultimately, right? There's no happiness within physical things, I think that's part of what you're speaking towards as well. That's their plight and their path, is that happiness isn't within the material things ultimately, right? Like I said, I live in the matrix, unfortunately, and I
You know,
do base my happiness off of that, unfortunately, sometimes. Uh-huh.
I understand, and so do I. So, this is a nine of diamonds year for me.
Mhm.
So this has been really interesting for me to even consider in the way some of the, like I said, things shifted this week. And when I felt the shift, it wasn't about the abundance of jewels and diamonds. It was about the excavation of my jewels, my gems, my gifts, right? And that it had so much to do with the alchemy and the relationships that have been like groomed my entire life. Like, I don't know if you can see these sunflowers and how amazing they are. I don't know if you can catch them. Like, they grow so many flowers out of this one stalk. It grows right out of the sidewalk. I can't even tell you the resilience of these girls. Like, I'm so honored to watch them grow. Like, we have a huge patch of them over in the side yard, and like, they have so many babies. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, can you imagine that we have so much energy to push blooms from that strength of that center? Like, in that center, she can like push off all of those blooms, and like, they take over little sections of the yard. Like, look at them. So that's the kind of stuff that just inspires me. Inspires me to bloom in all the little places that I can express myself, and to feels good. And I think that's all to do with what we decide's important. And to me, being creative is what's important. I've thought about it so many times. Why am I here? Like, what have I been doing? What's my purpose? And it's like, and no matter what's happened, I've created something. I've created something in response to everything that excited me. Every time I got excited about something that I thought could open things, explore, I made something. A little movie, a CD, a business, a family, a card table, and not alone. You can't do any of those things alone. But to respond creatively and to bloom every time however you bloom, and be strong enough in the center so that everything that wants to bloom can bloom, and to be in balance. You don't get too much fruit or be too heavy. I just think that's our jobs. So that's my share about the Nine of Diamonds. I did get excited about the garden, but that's the kind of stuff that really excites me. It's so freaking inspiring, and I like to be inspired. Where'd you go, Rashad? Well, Rashad left me here. His phone died. Great. Well, we are the family card table. No, we're the card table. Talking about the Nine of Diamonds. Maybe I need to talk until his phone comes back because I'm not able to turn it off. So let's see. What will I talk about? Well, I've been asking this question of some of the young people that I get the luxury to work with. I've been asking them to consider their soul as a seed, like a seed of possibility, like a unique seed of possibility. And that seed has like all the things it grows from and around you, right? Because you grow into a family, you grow into this environment, you grow at a certain astrological point, and everything you place the way it goes, right? So you come in, right? And now you're this seed of possibility influenced by the energies and the possibilities that come with that, right? So then as you grow and you start to push away or you start to fill up yourself from everything everyone else told you, you start to make your own core values as well. And so those core values become kind of like your mantra, your song. So the question is, what's the song around your seed? Like, what's the vibration of your essence, right? Is it of possibility? Is it in a small, tightened place, or is it in an open, like softening space? Because that seed wants to rise and bloom you. But that seed sometimes has a song that says, oh, you messed up, or you shouldn't have done it like that, or oh my goodness, that wasn't perfect, or whatever we internalized or used to make ourselves better. Sometimes that vibration is making it harder, like harder to breathe, harder to see, harder to come to a different floor of reality. Because, in those lower chakra spaces, we only see so far, right? There's a lot of fear and insecurity there sometimes. So there's a call to bring ourselves up to a higher place. And only in joining ourselves there can we get clearer, from however the connection works for you to the higher self, or at least the higher consciousness that's inviting us at this time. Because as we invite ourselves to that higher consciousness, we get more clues about what it is to grow divine and in an army of divinity, communicating in transparency, each doing our part from the heart and with a shared vision and reality. It won't stop. I won't stop dreaming it. I mean, yeah, it's kumbaya, but it's also like circles touching circles. It's the flowers, it's the sacred geometry, it's regular. It's kind of like what happens. So I just think it's a fun way to consider. So our work then is the self-knowledge. So then what's my song, right? And for the longest, my song might have been more in the tune of like, what did I do that was annoying now? How did I mess up now? Or be careful, Madeline, you don't know what you're doing. Like just a hold her back, hold her back, hold her back song, right? And then it was like, get it out, get it out, get it out. And then some songs came out, and now there's this like, mom blues or mom country song that wants to come out of me to like just let go of this momming energy that feels like it sometimes conflicted me in a way that I stayed small. So the seed started to think that as a mother I had to be a certain way. So tracking my seed and how it's been informed helps me know my core values, what I always did, how I fell back on my feet, what resilience came from. So I learned how to trust me. And then I say, oh, this would be fun. Everybody could trust themselves. It's kind of fun. We could grow. I love that. Because, one of the things we do is anything that's not okay, we push out, and we push onto you, or vice versa. So that's only going to slow us down, right? Because it's another weight. Oh no, look what I did. Carolyn Miss has such great stuff. She says that every time we lose our stuff, we go wild. We lose that center, lose our power. That's all power is. It's like, can you handle it? Can you stand in it? Can you manage yourself in the universe's laws, like cause and effect, vibration, frequency, oneness, just what is. What you focus on grows, like just those 12 basic universal laws. That's really what I think is ours to consider. Like, how am I responding to them and how am I meeting them so that I work with those energies? Right? How am I using it to grow better, grow wiser? Grow like those fucking sunflowers, like the resilience of those things. I love sunflowers. I've seen millions fields of them. Never in my life. The hardiness and the strength, and then like and another and another and another. It's like, damn, this sunflower. It's really taken my breath away. I was joking that I wanted to make a video yesterday about sunflowers, so I'm kind of laughing at myself. Be careful what you say you're gonna do. So that's funny. So yeah, so I don't know. Rashad's phone is dead, and we're talking about the Nine of Diamonds, and it's my year. Well, my sense is that my job is to continue to lay tracks for what I believe is true, and to take care of my health. So I'm vibrant, so my light is bright, and I can feel really strong wherever it is that I sing the next songs. And I also feel like I'm being called to get holy, like get more sacred about everything. I have a very spiritual tendency kind of thing. I think it's just was the way I am. But now I'm recognizing I want to use it more consciously and make some type of an annual prayer that supports the energies working together for good consciousness. So we'll see if that becomes real or not, but that is the way I'm dreaming. And since tomorrow is a new moon, I do like to make my intentions as clear as I can. So thanks for, the live audience to my intentions. Rashad, I'm glad you're back. Wasn't sure what to do, just kept talking.
You're fine. So I think it was so StreamYard isn't supposed to be able to. My issue has been it doesn't stream on Chrome, Google Chrome. It only streams on Internet Explorer. So I didn't use that at the beginning. So it seems like the Internet Explorer is blocking my camera, and it's not just my computer. So Google Chrome is allowing me to stream from my camera. Technology, right? So yeah. But yes, I didn't mean to interrupt. So you was talking about I got the part you were talking about. Watch what you say.
No, I said I was opening up the channel box. I was like, oh, where's she going? But I was just kind of touched by yeah, just by the moment, because I had really been thinking a lot about these sunflowers. So to actually talk about them, it's touching for me. Like, I sit on this like outside living room that I made for myself because I enjoy the outside. So I just sit there and look at those flowers. So they're like my TV. So I'm enjoying them a lot.
You have a beautiful view. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's a great yard. This part of life is really sweet. Yeah, the view in my current life is sweet. So I'm grateful for the good view. So, but yeah, I appreciate. Now we're going into the Ten of Diamonds, so that's a little bigger expansion, right? Lots of attention, Jupiter coming into play, and it's a new moon. So, what's your sense of the new moon intention, Rashad? Are you open to sharing some of your intentions for the new moon?
Where is it located? I don't know where it's located.
What do you mean, like in your because your chart, like how?
So we're in Virgo, so I guess it would be in Pisces. Let's show.
I
See.
think it's a new moon in Virgo.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, new moon. So yeah, in Virgo. So um, Ten of Diamonds. I guess with that would be health wise, like you said, one thing for sure is concentrating, focusing on your health, getting the things that you need, making sure that you're nourished, physically fit. I actually was talking about my health deteriorating because of my age, but um, the Ten of Diamonds can a lot of times be around health facilities. Had two queens, right? So getting information and knowledge about your health, educating yourself. Um, so actually, it's still in Leo right now. So yeah, it'll be in Virgo here soon. But coming up, so being concerned about your health routines, right? I always say the 10 of diamonds work out best in the mornings a lot of times, right? So physical fitness and health in your routine, building yourself up, talking about health and deteriorating, right? So what do you need to do to replenish your health, having or helping you to have a quick recovery? So they came to me, it was like oxygen therapy or something like that, right? But what do you need to do to, or getting good oxygen, going out running mountains, hills, right? Overcoming the 8 of spades is something or energy that overcomes obstacles. So I can see 10 of diamonds or that energy doing resistance, routines or workouts and those things. So um,
Rashad, I've just been randomly coloring in my book, right? And today I colored the 8 of spades, right? And so like
There's a coloring space. What book is that?
it's my tarot coloring book that does the cards in the tarot. So like
That is dope. Holy snap.
I fucking love this. So, anyways, I've been doing cards, just kind of doing random. So it occurred to me today that I did the 8 of spades, and right before that, I did the 2 of spades, and it's called the Hangman. And look at that shit. It's like still the same thing. Upside down blindfolded, standing straight blindfolded. And I'm like, man, what's with the blind part? Like, what's up with me? Like, and like I just try to be intuitive about what I color, and I just say, oh, that'll be fun to color. So it's been really neat. My favorite one is the one that my granddaughter and I did. So I let my grandson and my granddaughter do them with me. So it's so fun. And that one was, what card is that one? 6 of clubs, the tower. So, anyways, they just kind of make the cards and the tarot come together, and I'm doing one at a time and just kind of, digesting it a little bit. But I definitely am in my new moon saying, can we take the blindfold off? Because I feel like there is some type of a blindfold somewhere that I would really like to take away.
Yeah, I have to look at that book. I'm all about resources, studying multiple resources, and actually, that's something that me and Will was kind of talking about here recently. Is me getting more into the tarot of things. I do kind of hashtag it because the cards do relate. There are different. It's not the same number of cards, but if you look at the
So it's
major
fascinating.
13, there could be
What
relevant.
diamonds is. Let me see what card they say that is. I didn't even think to do that with it. The 9 of diamonds is the hermit. The 9 of diamonds is the hermit. Sacrifice without regret, self-care. This card asks us to observe our own thoughts and feelings, free from outside influences, and to enjoy our own company. The image might bring to mind a hermit crab, but the animal shown here is a nautilus. The inside of the nautilus shell is the logarithmic spiral. Spirals are symbolically connected to the moon, labyrinths, death and rebirth, growth and evolution. Signifies expectation and idealism. Diamonds represent the physical world and correspond to the element of earth. See, in this book, diamonds are the earth,
Hmm.
where some say spades are the earth. So,
The diamonds transforms into this world and the value of what's what was that? Yeah. So the value of what's around them. The essence of creativity, physical value, material value. Focus of talent. Wherever it may be, intuitive information, understanding of information, and it's a focus. I think a clear understanding of something, maybe hyper focused, stubborn as well, right? Like if you go back even to the creation of man, it's the ancient Sumerian, basically, I think it's um, I forgot the name of it exactly, but I believe it's the hashish. the Sumerian text. I forgot the full name. Someone may want to look that up. It's kind of one of those things. But the Opera Hashis or something like that. I know I'm butchering it, but it goes back into the Inky and Elil. No, I was just gonna, it goes back to Inky and Elil, and Allah and the aspects of humankind being servants to these gods, right? And them digging for gold. So what I'm saying is, people will come sometimes are consumed and obsessed and they have hyper focus, um, objectives, wherever it may be, good for good or evil. But the diamonds do transforms into spades, so that's how I see that relationship. And some people, that's why I said, another reason I said
I see
also.
the spades as the ancestors, I see the
Mhm.
spades as the elders, so that's where, yeah, it's an interesting thing because even when in the moon dance and the prayers that I'm inclined towards, everyone's got little different narratives about the elements and which one is which. It's really fascinating. I guess it really has to be what feels alive to you, and then something that people can agree to and see in different ways, because that's the beginning of the splits right there. I mean, that's the Protestant and the Christians, right? That's like, wait a minute, no, that's this way, no, it's this way. It's like, oh, wait a minute, they're all still working together for us, so let's just figure out how we work with them together, and we don't decide which is which and make a fight about it, because I don't really know. Like I said, I often hear the diamonds to be the earth and like the pentacles kind of thing, but the disc, it's everything's different. So I'm not sure what the whole truth is on that stuff.
That's why. So the diamonds start out in Saturn for the most part, right? So it starts out in Jupiter, the wisdom that comes about, the information, the expansion, the understanding, the teacher, right?
What
Um,
element do you think the diamonds are?
you said what?
What element do you think the diamonds are?
For me, so they start out in the later part of the year. So transforming, I think it is a earth element, almost in the sense of specialty, skill, and understanding. But fluid in the water element can also go into understanding as far as mental or creativity or the changing or the fluidness of values, right? So
I guess
it
the hearts would be fire, and the hearts wouldn't be water. The hearts would be fire.
Yeah, that's why I said the instrument of your understanding and that's why I said we speak a lot of jargon. So based upon your understanding and the way that you understand it is the application more than anything. So kind of that's what me and Will talk about a lot as
Agree.
well, right? Is to under you have to know why somebody says something. So that's why I have the classes, and that's why I was doing the classes as well, because it's one thing to read the book and to read it, but it's like speaking Spanish versus French, right? So which one, who's right and who's wrong, whose description, it's just
Yeah,
the way that
different
you.
languages, yeah, to talk about the same things. Yeah.
Right. So it's just the way that you use it, and what you're referencing to it and your reasoning. Because the hearts is the fire, as far as I'm concerned. It's the spring, it has a lot of passion that comes into it, right? From their standpoint. So I can see the application why certain things may say certain things about other about certain cards. So that's why I said that's why I like to have classes. That's from my standpoint, where you don't be confused. You know why they're saying this
Yeah.
about one card or
So let
what.
me just say the whole thing so I get it. So then the hearts are fire, the diamonds are water,
Mhm,
the clubs are air,
mhm.
and the spades are earth.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So and but like I said, I also could see why someone else will say
Yeah,
that
yeah,
the
totally.
diamonds would be earth or the
Yeah.
physical,
Hmm.
hardship, discipline,
Yeah.
and all of those things that goes into the diamonds or the wisdom or the old age of the space, and why it would be reference to a physical person, the physical element, of
Hmm.
reincarnation or anything like that, right? With that wisdom. So, yeah, I can totally see why certain cards or why they would say certain things. Even
Yeah.
in the hermetics in certain books, um, with certain speakers, they talk about the spades being the sexual instance or the physical representation of the human body, which is
Mhm.
life, what makes us, reincarnate or give life. Nine of spades can be related to birth, right? So I can. So you have to know why certain cards say certain things, and how and that's how you read the cards as well sometimes. And so without the information, that back information, that's why I said looking at a lot of different reference points will open you up to understanding the reference or why certain things are said about certain cards. But if you have a skewed or just a singular reference point, then it's going to be confusing, you know.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I am going to have classes, and looking. I'm gonna give all my sources and references. It will be recorded as well. Um, I'm trying to think. I thought about moving the dates, possibly. It could change, but that's only because I've been looking at a lot of things around like marketing and those things. So I want to create a environment for myself to succeed, right, or to make sure I have the um,
Yes,
more
please. Love it.
time. So I can be pretty impulsive at times, but also I can procrastinate. So there's that fine line, thin line, right?
Like you kept this going. You kept it going the whole time, and you have not lost your passion for the cards, and you're always thinking about it in creative ways and always wanting to make the world a better space, like see it from your grace. So you haven't done anything wrong. Like, I sometimes wonder what makes it all grow too, but I also know that the intention of what's been done is what's going to help it grow too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
All
So
right, well, I'm gonna go. We have a family meeting on Sundays, and it's my turn to get in there. I said I'd be done, so I
uh,
need to go. But this was great, Rashad. Miss you, Gina, but this was an interesting conversation. I appreciate it. I appreciate the being in this frequency. And the Tuesday night is going to be the card table. We went into Clubhouse. Rashad, I talked about you in a funny way on Clubhouse. I was like, Rashad is great. Rashad and I, when we first became friendly, he like wanted to be on the streets talking to people about cards and seeing what they would say. And it's kind of like what he's doing, but virtually. Just
yeah, the car whisper, like Tesla, Tesla.
he's just traveling these virtual streets, popping up here and there, having conversations. So, so I was
Never know
talking
what the spirit will
about
take me. But well, I'm growing. I appreciate it. Like you
doing
said,
great.
I'm a three of diamonds, so always trying to find a different way to be authentic in the way that I present the cards. So I appreciate everyone for listening, participating. I appreciate you, everyone that's here listening right now, because whatever we say, sometimes we feel it goes unheard when speaking spiritual sciences. When you first start out, like who's gonna listen to this crazy stuff? But I really do appreciate it. So if I bring any understanding to you, of course, you bring a lot of understanding from to me with your questions, and I appreciate it. So if you're here, I'm very thankful. So thank you. Have a nice night. Was there anything that you have going on or you wanted to speak about before you go?
Oh no, I was just gonna make the new moon intention that everyone's able to release anything that's not their truth, and that we become more and more articulate about what it is that we have to say, and we say it in a good, timely way.
As always, as we all may vibrate at our highest spirit, live in our truth. So I appreciate you for that word. See you all later, and thank you for showing up.
Bye.